Hello and welcome to episode number 1 of Metal Monday. The band I am covering this week is Children of Bodom. Children of Bodom is a band of multiple genres. They are known for having shredding guitar solos, melodic keyboards, and often battles between the two. I like to put them in the thrash metal category, but they've also been categorized as death metal, progressive metal, melodic metal, power metal, and symphonic black metal. They were formed out of Espoo, Finland in 1993 by guitarist Aleksi Laiho and drummer Jaska Rajatikinen under the name Inearthed. After releasing 3 unsuccessful demos, the band recorded their first full-length album in 1997 titled Something Wild. This album was originally supposed to be released on a small Belgian record label called Shiver Records, but the album was passed around and was eventually discovered by Spinefarm Records, who was interested in doing a countrywide release. However, the band, still known as Inearthed at the time, was binded by contracts and could not release their new album under Spinefarm's label, although a loophole enabled them to do just that as long as they released it under a different name. So through much deliberation and several suggestions, the band became what we now know them as Children of Bodom. They then went on to release 7 studio albums between 1997 and 2011 under Spinefarm Records, and in June of 2012 they ended up signing with Nuclear Blast, with whom they've just released their second album under that label titled I Worship Chaos. So what does Children of Bodom mean? Well, the theme and name of the band is in reference to a grisly crime that took place in their hometown of Espoo, Finland 55 years ago. In the early morning hours of June 5th, 1960, 4 teenagers were out camping on the shores of Lake Bodom, about 22 kilometers from Helsinki. At this time, an unknown person or persons murdered 3 of the 4 teenagers with a knife and a blunt object and wounded the 4th but didn't kill him. The sole survivor of the incident, Niels Wilhelm Gustafsson, recovered from his injuries and led a normal life for the next 44 years, but then in 2004 he was labeled a suspect and was charged for the murders of his 3 friends. A year later, in 2005, a district court found Gustafsson not guilty of all charges against him. The Lake Bodom murders are still unsolved to this day. The band name is associated with those teenagers, that night, and the entire event as a whole. They use the Grim Reaper as their unofficial mascot as a depiction of death. The Grim Reaper is a representation of the unknown being that ended the life of 3 teenagers by that lake on June 5th, 1960. Many of their songs are in reference to the Lake Bodom murders, with titles such as Silent Night Bodom Night, Bodom Beach Terror, Bodom After Midnight, Lake Bodom, and Follow the Reaper. Although I can find no direct correlation, I always thought that the Friday the 13th movies were an Americanized Hollywood version of the true-life events that took place at Lake Bodom, in the sense that a mysterious crazed maniac appears in the night and slaughters teenagers who are camping by a lake. Children of Bodom has seen mild worldwide success. All of their albums, with the exception of the freshly released I Worship Chaos, have reached at least a gold status, meaning that they've all sold a minimum of 100,000 copies in the UK alone. One of their records, Follow the Reaper, which was released in 2000, even managed to achieve a platinum status, which means it sold over 300,000 copies in the UK. Keep in mind that the criteria for these certificates are different depending on the region. In the UK it's 300,000, in Canada it's 80,000, and in the United States it's 1 million in order to achieve a platinum certificate. 100,000 for the UK, 40,000 for Canada, and 500,000 for the United States are required for the gold record status. Fans of the band worldwide are affectionately known as the Children of Bodom Hate Crew. Children of Bodom has seen several band members come and go, but their current and perhaps strongest lineup yet consists of Aleksi Laiho, Jaska Rajatikinen, Henka Sapjalja, and Jani Werman. The band is currently touring Europe and Australia with Megadeth and Sylosis, and they are one of Finland's best-selling artists of all time, with over 250,000 albums sold in that country alone. I discovered Children of Bodom in 2000 when I was looking up songs for the band Hatebreed. I came across Bodom's second studio album titled Hatebreeder. The first song I heard was Silent Night Bodom Night, and I was hooked immediately. I have seen them in concert over a dozen times, and they never get old. My first time seeing them was in 2004 with Fear Factory and Lamb of God. During this concert, I had a scary and perhaps life-threatening experience during Bodom's setlist. A circle pit had formed during the performance of Downfall, which is a fan favorite song. The whole crowd went nuts, and to this day, it's still one of the biggest circle pits I've ever been in. Well, in that circle, I lost my footing, I fell down, and I ended up getting trampled by a stampede of raging metalheads. I tried several times to get up, but I just couldn't get up. I was getting stepped on and stomped on, and I honestly remember that for a moment I feared for my life after having a few people literally stomp on my head while I was on the ground. I remember basically getting into a fetal position and using my arms to shield my head, and as soon as the crowd thinned out, I was able to hop back up on my feet. Luckily, I wasn't seriously injured, and honestly, I don't believe anyone kicked or stomped on me on purpose. It was just a heat of the moment kind of thing, but nevertheless, it was a heart-pounding moment that made that concert extra memorable for me. Children of Bodom has seen some ups and downs in their career, but the recent release of I Worship Chaos is a testament that they're still a major contender in the metal scene, because quite frankly, the new album is fucking awesome. So that's going to be it for this edition of Metal Monday. Make sure to check out Children of Bodom and be sure to subscribe and tune in each and every Monday when I cover a different metal band each week. But that's it for me for now. Thank you all for watching. I'm Vile Self. Later, villains.